Jalon Walker seems to be in line to be the next stud defender from Georgia, and he may just be the best defensive player in this draft.
Here's the deal, I'm the best there is, plain and simple.
You asked for it and we delivered. It's Fan Friday, and you, the fans, chose today's topic or point of view. Don't forget to leave a comment down below. Let us know which NFL draft prospect you are most excited for. Now, while some are excited for Abdul Carter, don't worry, we are too, and we'll be doing a video on him in the near future. But Walker is different. He can rush the passer, stop the run, and go in coverage. Now, I'm not saying he's the best coverage linebacker because he's rather inexperienced in coverage, as Georgia only had him playing off the ball some of the time, but the new experience isn't something he's shying away from either. Just last month at the Combine, he stated that he believes it adds value to not only himself, but his team as well.
I feel like I'm better at being that chess piece. I feel like playing multiple positions, at being an inside backer, outside backer, and sometimes playing that nickel star Sam, that position, I mean, that increases my value and increases the team value as well, just because you never know where I'll be at in the game plan for that week. A lot of teams want me to still be in that position of playing multiple positions for their club, so I'm excited for it.
Now that's a true leader speaking. He's willing to learn multiple positions and move all over the field for the betterment of his team. Now, if you're connecting the dots at home, you shouldn't be surprised that he has football in his blood. But before we get to that, let's check out the results for this week's poll question. Thanks to everyone that voted. Look for a new question every Monday. Now back to it. Jalen's father, Curtis, was not only a former D2 All-American, but he was also a head football coach for his alma mater, Catawba College. As a player, Curtis was a 4-year starter and a 3-time All-American. He was inducted into Catawba's Hall of Fame, as well as the South Atlantic Conference. Oh, and he set the single-game record for tackles with 25. He then went on to coaching and spent a decade at Coastal Carolina as their DC. After spending a year in the same role at Western Carolina, Curtis came back to Catawba as their head coach, where he would serve in that role for 10 seasons until 2022. This is the experience that helped shape and mold young Jaylen. Here's what he had to say and what he took away from that experience.
I appreciate my dad so much because this opportunity was in front of me before I even knew it. You know, watching him give pregame speeches throughout the years, hyping his team up, and seeing his players go throughout life. You know, it's a great opportunity because when I was a younger kid, I used to run around the locker room, play around with the players overall, and seeing the younger kids now, you know, the coaches' kids as well, do the same thing I did. You know, I really appreciate it because they took the time to play with me. They took the time to give me guidance. They took the time to be that older brother role for me. So overall, it was just a great opportunity.
It's incredible to see how grateful he is for this perspective and his understanding of the advantages it brings. Again, this speaks to his leadership ability and his overall character. And this is something Kirby Smart definitely took note of when he was at Georgia. Here's Kirby talking about what he brings off the field as well as on.
Oh, he's a high character leader. He was the guy that presented me with the football in there after the game, the 100th win ball, and he's just such a high character kid and high moral value and great family. I mean, you think back to all those wins you get in recruiting and how you really don't know how important they are. And I think back to when he called and told us he was coming, you know, what that changed his life towards and what it changed for us. His dad reached out the other day and said, "Kirby, y'all done everything you said you were going to do with my son, and I really appreciate you making him a better man."
Leader, high character, high moral value, etc., etc. These are all exactly the qualities you not only want in a high draft pick, but as a leader of your team. And that's great and all, but the most important thing is, can he play? Oh yeah, Jalon Walker sure can. As a junior, he led the Bulldogs in sacks despite being on the field for only 244 snaps, with 124 of those in pass rush situations. This past season, he tied for the team lead in sacks and led the team in TFLs. He saw a much more diverse snap count as he was on the field for 622 snaps, but less than a third of those, 195, he was in to rush the passer. 249 times he lined up as the edge versus 300 as a normal box linebacker, and he even had 61 snaps in the slot. The sack and pass rush production is his true dominant trait right now though, and this is why there's speculation that some teams may try to have him play exclusively on the edge. Personally, I think that might not be the wisest decision, as he is a matchup nightmare all over the field. But this approach could allow him to get adjusted to life in the NFL easier and ensure that he gets off to a quick start. That leads us to our last question. But who's going to take him? Well, according to draft expert Todd McShay, he could see him going anywhere from 5th to 9th and doesn't see a scenario where he falls out of the top 10. He said the most probable and best fit would be at 8 to the Carolina Panthers. This sentiment was echoed by 4 of the mock GMs at NFL.com. Honestly, I think Carolina would be a great fit for him as well. The Panthers were ranked last or towards the bottom in several defensive categories last season, including points allowed, yards allowed, first downs, and passing touchdowns. Even if they choose to have Walker play mostly edge, his 6.5 sacks from his last season in college would have led the Panthers. Oh, and the Panthers previously drafted a linebacker from Georgia. You may remember him, Thomas Davis, who played with the team for over a decade. Now, maybe your team doesn't need a linebacker-edge hybrid, but you still want some help on the defensive side of the ball. Don't worry, we got you covered. Literally, because we took a deep dive into Michigan star cornerback Will Johnson. So be sure to check out our recent point of view right here. Enjoy the weekend. We'll catch you back here on Tuesday. Only 2 more weeks to the draft, football fans.